She doesn't even go here.
I'm bi, actually.
Excuse me. Could the ugly, untalented gays please report to the principal's office?
Hi, I'm Kurt Homo, and I'll be auditioning for the role of kicker.
Hello! Welcome in, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in to today's episode of Not So Straight Nerds. I'm your host, Luke.
And I'm your other host, Alicia.
And today we have an exciting conversation
Hey.
on...
Gosh.
Yeah, a little bit.
Somebody's maybe a little sick over here.
On Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein.
Yeah, you're going to have to be the one that says his name, like, the
Every
entire
time?
episode. Because I've sat down and tried to slow it down. I just can't. I don't know what it is.
It's a very fun name.
It's very fun. I wish I could say it.
Guillermo.
It's awesome. So I'm just going to stick to GDT. We'll do that.
Nice.
Like he's like a rapper name or something.
GDT!
In the house. Anyways.
So, we have some exciting stuff to talk about. Maybe not a lot, but we'll see. This might end up being one of our shorter episodes just because it's not super franchise heavy.
Yeah.
But we'll see where it goes.
See where it goes, yeah.
Before we get started on those conversations...
Vibe check.
The vibes. How are the vibes?
I'm chilling. This microphone's making me nervous. We need a new microphone.
Okay.
And a new chair. If you can't hear. So, anyways, I'm excited to talk about it. We're kind of late talking about it because we've had a super busy week, but that's okay.
Little buff.
Better late than never, so it's okay.
Yeah. And I will say, I don't know if we're that late because people are still talking about this movie.
True.
Which is,
Very true.
I think, really awesome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Anyways.
Yeah. Oh, and my vibes? Immaculate.
Other than maybe the scratchy throat.
I'm vibing.
Okay.
Enough. Feel buff.
Okay.
For those listening on Spotify, she had a finger in the air and everything for that. It was very extra.
Hey, on Spotify you can watch the video too. So.
Oh my gosh, we're being watched right now? That's crazy.
We've been watched for months. I've been uploading the videos for months on Spotify.
Gosh, I'm going to apologize for that, but for this beforehand. So, before we get started on some of our conversations, this is also being thrown out there that this is going to be a spoiler review.
Yeah.
So, we are going to talk the gritty details of Frankenstein 2025 from Netflix. You can watch it right now on Netflix if you want to. We highly recommend that you do. And then just circle on back to us and join our conversation. So, you have been warned. But we are going to start out this episode officially
The ranking.
with ranking the Guillermo del Toro movies. Mm-hmm. So you have seen 6? Right?
Yes, 6.
Okay, and I have seen a whopping 9. There's only one big movie missing now in my Guillermo del Toro
Which one is it?
portfolio, and it is the Pacific Rim movie.
Right. Yeah, I haven't seen that one either.
And the thing is, I've seen it, but I very specifically remember watching it, like, in a camper on a trip to Disney, like, when I was, like, 13.
Okay,
So, maybe not the
maybe
most
so.
reliable experience.
Yeah.
And I also know Pacific Rim is a very interesting franchise, because it's very, I think, divisive is the right word to say.
Okay.
Because people either think it's stupid, or some people think it's really cool.
Okay.
So, I'm interested to see where I land on that.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah, I've seen, honestly, I had not seen a lot before Frankenstein. With Frankenstein, I had seen 3 at that time. I've seen that one. I didn't know Nightmare Alley was him. I should have, because I love that movie. And maybe I did at some point, but for some reason it felt like fairly new information to me. And then obviously Pinocchio. But I watched Pan's Labyrinth, Crimson Peak, and The Shape of Water. So, very excited to talk about all of those. Those are honestly, like, my ranking was not hard, but all of them are enjoyable. Put it that way. There's not like this is my clear bottom, like, because it sucks. Like, I liked all of them, so good for him.
Interesting. Well, as I have watched 3 more movies than her,
Yes,
I'm going to
go
go
ahead.
first with my bottom 3. And dare I say it, let me make sure and look at the rest of my list. I think this is a really easy bottom 3,
Okay.
actually.
Okay, so you have a little bit different of an experience.
So, at number 9, I have Blade 2.
That just sounds like fake. Like
Guillermo
not
del
only-
Toro's Blade 2.
Yes, it does. That entire every single word you just said sounds fake.
Yeah, it's interesting. I feel like there's some kind of disconnect between me and the Blade movies. I know everyone universally believes that the third one's bad, but I think the second one is also pretty bad. And then I also think the first one is okay.
Yeah.
The intro, iconic. The casting, the look, great.
Yeah.
Everything else, I think it's kind of a very forgettable movie.
Yeah, I have not seen that one, but I'm sure before Doomsday especially, I'll be watching a lot of those movies just in case. It'll probably be more relevant for Secret Wars, if anything, but just in case, I'll be watching those. I'll be rewatching the Fox, like, X-Men universe thing, so one day I will have an opinion on that, unfortunately.
But at number 8, I have Hellboy 2. I believe that one's the Golden Army.
So what are the Hellboy movies about?
So Hellboy, and I want to say he's either owned by DC Comics and is just typically kept in a separate universe, or it's just the company that kind of gets this indie comic. I don't know which one it is off the top of my head, but Hellboy is a half human, half demon kid. And
Makes sense.
essentially
Fit the
him
name.
and this other team of like semi-demonic monstrous heroes are kept by the government. And they're like kept in essentially an off-brand Area 51 bunker, and then they're just released to go hunt, similar phenomenon.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
The first
Yes.
2 I think are solid. They're both directed by Guillermo.
Yeah.
They made one, I think, in like 2019 with, oh my gosh, Hopper from Stranger Things as Hellboy.
Oh, David Harbour?
David Harbour. And it's really bad.
Dang.
It's like really bad.
He's got some pretty bad movies in his discography or whatever, filmography. So.
But the first 2 are pretty solid. I think Ron Perlman is the actor who plays Hellboys in those.
Okay.
But Hellboy 2, I think it's just a little bit weaker. I remember because they're looking for this like golden army, which is like this like huge number of like golden robots, and those are cool. As soon as we like get to the place where those are, it like it like incredibly increased how interested I was in the movie, and I was like, oh, this is sick.
Okay.
Before that, it focuses a lot more on this relationship that Hellboy is in a very cliche way.
Okay.
And that kind of drug it down. It's been a hot second since I watched it, so these are just the things I remember from it. But, yeah. Then at number 7, I have the first Hellboy.
Okay.
Which I think is
a little bit better.
Yes, it introduces Hellboy, and also, fun fact that you might like, he likes cats. So he has a lot of cats.
Instant like.
You're introduced to him, his fishman sidekick, his hellfire girlfriend.
Sure.
With her, it's really interesting because that one's very Guillermo del Toro.
Okay.
Because she looks human, and they were in love, and then she ended up leaving the facility because she looks human. And then like he goes after her in the city because I think she's staying at an asylum. But it's very Guillermo del Toro, the way that he like still like watches her from like the rooftops. Guillermo, what a pioneer.
Maybe, and respect.
Yeah, and they have them just like fight. I think some typical demons here,
Yeah.
and that's badass. So
I don't know if I'll ever watch this, but maybe one day. I don't know.
Yeah, that's my list. Revealed.
Cool.
So far. Go ahead.
Okay, so I will start with my list. My number 6 is GDT's Pinocchio. I've never been a huge fan of any Pinocchio film. Like the 3 I've seen, the original, the live action remake. Oh my god, we shall not talk about that. Cynthia Erivo, I'm so sorry you were in that film. This one here, I would definitely say is easily the best of the 3, or at least my favorite of the 3. I just think it's so beautifully created. So wasn't this nominated and
Yes.
maybe won? Did it win?
I think so.
Mhm.
Yes, it did.
I think it did, yeah. So I feel like it should put into perspective how much I like all 6 of these movies, saying that this is at the bottom.
Sure.
Because this is still really good, and I like it. So, again, still not, like, overly joyed with the story. I've never been super interested in it. But just the style this movie is in, I think, immediately increases it a lot for me. So, yeah.
Sure. My number 6 is also Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio. I love the animation style. I love the voice acting. I particularly love kind of the difference between just wanting to be a human boy and fitting into being human, and the idea of, like, it's very similar to Frankenstein with the idea that, like, every time he dies, he goes and sees this god that's like, well, time to send you back because you can't die until you become a real boy.
Yeah.
Voiced by Tilda Swinton. Ethereal. Love that little creature
You will
design.
get this right. Thank you.
And then the middle loses a little bit because I don't know. I guess I don't know the original tale of Pinocchio all that well. I feel like it's not that crazy, but it feels like it kind of goes a little tangenty here.
That's just the Pinocchio story. It's like, it's really good until he starts, like, meeting with all the friends, and then they go off and do their own thing, and then it just kind of spirals from there, and it loses me a little bit.
When it comes back to him and... Is it Geppetto still?
It's the cricket.
No, not Geppetto.
Or
Geppetto, the old man.
cricket. Oh, Geppetto. Yes.
When it comes back to him, and I love the cricket here,
Yeah.
and casting Obi-Wan Kenobi, I always think of that name first before you think of his name.
Oh, Ewan McGregor.
Ewan McGregor. Love him.
I didn't even question you when you said that. I'm like, yeah, that's him.
Lovely casting. I think it adds a really solemnness to the idea that, that he remained immortal and just kind of watched everything go away. I don't know. It has a very melancholiness to it, which is very Guillermo.
Yeah.
But it's very, I don't know, it makes it a very unique version of Pinocchio.
Yeah, I agree.
Oh, yeah.
My number 5 is Pan's Labyrinth. This may ruffle some feathers, I guess. I don't know. I've seen people be super strong fans of this movie. I found it solid. It was a little weird for me at times, and obviously, like, the VFX are kind of outdated. It's not really much you can do about that. Just the way it is. I kind of wish I grew up on this movie, though, because I feel like that's why a lot of people have a soft spot for it, and I can totally understand that. I have plenty of movies that are maybe not, like, objectively the best, but you grew up on it, so you just, like, it's in your childhood. It did feel like, as I was watching, I was missing out on having grown up with this movie. So.
And being scarred by that eyeball monster.
I mean, they had some pretty cool monsters, I will say. Maybe a little weird, scary looking, but like the frog, what a way to start. What a way to start. Yeah. But I think overall it's still pretty solid, still pretty fun. So, glad I finally got around to it.
At number 5, I have Crimson Peak.
Yes.
I do love this movie. It's the production design, the spooks. Even if I think some of the, I don't know if they're necessarily twists, but the big like reveals or whatever, incredibly obvious. It's a really fun time, and it's really solid. If maybe a scooch in the box for Guillermo, especially considering some of his other stuff, I think is very unique.
Yeah.
But still really well made.
With that, I totally agree. That's my next one. I think it's a very fair read of this film. I just love Tom Hiddleston in this movie and the other girl, and I don't know her name. Not Jessica Chastain. I mean, she did fine, but like the other lady that was
main character,
Alice in Wonderland, Alice in the movie.
Alice.
Anyways, she was great. I don't know if I've seen her in much, but she has such I think people call it a period face, where you can be in like
period.
Yeah, period. Yeah, like the Saoirse Ronan look. She has such a great face for that. I wonder if because I want to say that that's wasted, that they should use her more, but maybe they have, and I just haven't seen it. I don't know. I need to maybe take a closer look at her filmography.
She's certainly not a face that pops up places.
Yeah.
She pops up in very specific projects.
Yeah. But I really liked it. I liked the drama of the film. I do think the twists were super obvious. I know you tend to guess a lot more stuff than I do, but I feel like if even I can be like, oh, this is obvious. Yeah, maybe, I don't know. Maybe don't at least rely on the twist being such a shock factor, because it wasn't built up to be that way. Or at least I don't think it was built up well. But
still so fun.
Still very fun. Yeah, very dramatic third act, so. And the Ed Gein guy was in it, so as the doctor.
Oh.
Right?
Interesting.
Do you not remember? I texted you that. I think, yeah, I texted you Ed Gein is in Crimson Peak.
You texted me a lot of things.
Well, then you need to start responding, because look at what you're missing out on.
That's great. To be fair, it has been, gosh, I watched Crimson Peak before I came to college.
Really?
Yeah, I watched that with my mother, and it was a great random find on Netflix.
Yeah.
Like, imagine just stumbling upon that movie.
That's crazy. What a find. I stumbled upon, in one night, Midsummer and Knives Out. Because I watched Midsummer thinking it was Shakespeare. I've talked about this on the podcast before, and then it so wasn't. And then I needed something to cleanse my palate and my brain after that. And I saw Knives Out, and I was like, oh, Chris Evans. And it's a mystery. I love mysteries. And it's like one of my like top 10 movies, like top 5, honestly.
For sure.
So, what a crazy day for me. Anyways.
My life is kind of crazy. My number 4, I have Pan's Labyrinth. I just kind of adore this. Just kind of this idea of using imagination as an escape, and just kind of exploring that to such a super endearing but heartbreaking level. Mm-hmm. It's been the hot second since I've seen this as well, but I remember parts of it super vividly. Mm-hmm. The ending is like, if I watched that as a kid, I would have been like a mess.
That's true. Yeah, that's true.
But I don't know. I was so surprised by it. Mm-hmm. This was like the first film since when I like started like watching a bunch of films that was a non-English film. Mm-hmm. And I remember being like, oh, I hope I'm going to be into this still. Yeah. And then it still definitely was. Yeah. So, look at me. Like 3 years ago. Yeah. A little more than that, but no, it's so good. I adore it.
So my number 3 is Frankenstein. So I liked this film. I thought it was really good. This is like my top 3. Such good films. Such good films. I think I gave this 4 or 4.5 stars maybe. Can't quite remember. I feel like the only reason why is because maybe, if anything, it was a little short. Like, they didn't get to totally flesh out some ideas that I wanted them to. but the visuals were overall so good. There was only like maybe 2 quick scenes where obviously they had to use VFX, and it was a little obvious that they did, but whatever, because everything else looked like a painting, quite frankly. I think the fact that Jacob Elordi ended up being the monster in this film was a miracle, because he did so good in this film. Because I know Andrew Garfield was up for the role for a while, and then some other guy that's older, I think. I don't remember his name though. Anyways, and then we ended up here, and I'm so glad we did. I also think it's really funny, Mia Goth. I don't want to get too much into it.
Because we have a whole episode waiting.
Yes, but Mia Goth was talking about how to build like their relationship and chemistry, she kept buying things for Jacob Elordi, like would give him like food and like all these different things to like. It's basically, there's a word for it, there's a term for it, because it's a little bit like manipulating him into liking her. There's an actual term for it, and I forgot what it is. But I think that's funny, because I do think their chemistry is really good in this film, so paid off, girl, good job. Mia Goth is another one of those that I think has such a period face. Like, she's so amazing. Such a unique face, such a unique voice. And it really works for her anywhere she pops up in. So, yeah. I think she's going to be in a movie, I want to say with... I might be wrong about this. I'll have to look this up after. Maybe Lola Tong from The Summer I Turned Pretty.
Interesting. I feel like I might have seen something like that.
Right? I'm pretty sure.
I feel like you might not be crazy.
Okay. Anyways, yeah, I don't want to get too much into it, but I thought this was a really well done film. I think it's an utter shame it was not given a wide release. I'm glad some people got to see it, but like, when it's Netflix, there was an award show I saw the other day on Twitter that is not allowing K-pop Demon Hunters to get nominated in anything because it didn't get, in their eyes, a wide enough theatrical release, or at least close enough to its actual release date. Mm-hmm. So they're missing out on that, and I honestly hope, I mean, that sucks, but I hope more things like that happen so they can realize what they're missing out on, not giving it wide releases. Plus, like, K-pop Demon Hunters made a lot of money when it was in theaters, and this would have as well. So it's like you're just like missing out on money, and for what? Mm-hmm. So we'll see.
For sure. My number 3 is also Frankenstein. I think this is really close to being a perfect movie. Truly, just some of the VFX. I would say specifically on some of the animals.
Interesting.
It feels like that's where, because it is such a gorgeous movie, that then when there's something that feels a little subpar to like aggressively average, it like sticks out a lot.
Yeah.
The performances are amazing. We'll get into that obviously, but it is so. This is like one of the most Guillermo del Toro. I think this is the most Guillermo del Toro movie he's made.
Well, and now it's opening up such a big world for him because everybody's wanting... He's talking about maybe doing like a Phantom of the Opera adaptation with Rachel Zegler. Woo! Like, I'm sold. Like, please do it tomorrow. Like, oh my gosh. And there's other adaptations too that I'm not thinking of right now.
Yes.
But,
and I want to circle back to some future opportunities for him. Yeah. But Frankenstein is just so... fun. It is gorgeous. It is endearing. It's heartbreaking. And it feels like these are some words that I might be saying a lot, but I think he's just such a talented director to really create those feelings and use them typically in really unique and interesting ways. Yeah. I think he is just so talented. And I think this is a modern masterpiece. So.
I actually think it would be really fun if he got nominated for Best Director. I don't know if he will, but that would be nice. He's not... I wouldn't say he's, like, out of the running on that.
Oh, no, not at all.
But there's just so much competition this year that we'll have to see who gets in. So I went ahead and put my top 2. So my number 2 is The Shape of Water, and my number 1 is Nightmare Alley. So Shape of Water was one of the 3 that I had recently watched, just like a few days ago. Oh my gosh, was this so good. First of all, anything with the Paddington mom in it. What is her name? Sally Hawkins?
Yes.
She is so talented in anything she's in. Even when she's in a movie like Bring Her Back where she's supposed to be an unlikable character, like, it's hard to do that because she has just such a sweet face that you just want to root for. And then, obviously, I know a lot of sign language, and I love that language. So the fact that this movie had so much of that, immediate perk for me. And it was accurate sign, too. Sometimes in media they don't use accurate sign, but I know, like, I'm thinking of, like, Ginny and Georgia as well. They, at least from what I could tell, they use accurate sign in that. So I appreciate that. So, because sometimes in fantasy they're like, it doesn't have to be real. And I'm like, could have been, though. There's no reason it could have been. But, gosh, like, it's such a beautiful movie. The script is really well done. What a great cast. The monster, whatever you want to call it.
They never did give it a name.
Creature.
The creature.
Yeah, the creature looks really good. And, you know, he's bold for what he does. Like, she has sex with a fish. So, he doesn't hold back all that. However, it was really funny because I saw, like, the beginning of the movie where she's, like, underwater. Mm-hmm. She's, like, sleeping underwater. And then she wakes up and she has, like, the cuts. I'm like, oh, so she's, like, a fish. Not yet. But
we're getting ahead of
that.
ourselves.
Yeah, I clocked that really, really early. I was like, oh, okay. Which, I don't know. Maybe most people clock that. But I was like, I thought she actually was at that moment. Anyways.
Under the sea. Gosh.
Anyways.
And then your number 1.
Oh, and then obviously my number 1, Nightmare Alley. I have always been a huge fan of this movie, despite maybe some. I feel like it's a fairly divisive film. I feel like some people really dislike it, but I watched it in a film class. Those film classes were awesome, guys. They introduced me to some great films. This was one of them. I'm also really glad. One of them was more so just watch these films on your own, and one of them was like, we meet and we have a 3-hour class once a week, and we are watching a movie in class most of the time. This is one of those we watched in class with a big projector so we could basically see it on a big screen, and I'm really appreciative of that because this is one of those where, because of that, I tend to be more locked in. Not be on my phone, which is, I feel like, easier to do when you're just, like, by yourself in your house, with no one around to hold you accountable. This one, I'm like, I was locked in, and it was pretty good. It looked good, and then the ending just, like, exploded my mind, and it went from, like, a solid film to, like, one of my favorites. Again, like, top 10 for me. Mm-hmm. So, I adore this film. I think it's great. I honestly don't know why people hate on it. I don't understand. And I honestly, like, I'm, like, not mentally prepared to, like, listen to takes on why people dislike it, because, like, I can't. I can't potentially, like, agree with them. Like, I don't want to. So, anyways.
My number 2 and my number 1 are flipped, and I will say, literally on my outline, I wrote them the other way.
Oh, so, like...
But I think I've officially decided that I adore Shape of Water.
That's so good.
And these are still great
good.
movies. These are 10 out of 10s for me as well.
Yeah.
But Nightmare Alley, it is so interesting. I love a carnival aesthetic. One thing about me. I love looking, like, deeper into a con man, how he gets to where he is, growing power. I think it has an incredible cast. And I think that the movie builds up to our third act really well throughout the entire time.
Yep.
Maybe it's too slow for some people, but, like, I don't know. I think the cast really makes the slow burn work.
Yeah.
For me, at least. Leads up to a big finale, which feels very Crimson Peak, actually.
Yeah.
And then it does have a really great full circle moment, which I love when movies have those.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's very solid. I think it's so good. I think it's great. I think it's in the award circuit. I think it was a little undervalued, but still so great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel like it's weird. I'm trying to even like find a reason people might tune out, and I want to say like maybe it's one of those where, because I know some people out there, they kind of judge like the first 30 minutes to an hour, and they just assume the film is going to be good or bad based off that, which I already think is a shame. But I also don't even see that with this, because like you said, like the characters are just so captivating to me. So
yeah, and if it's not the actors, like the set is so fun, and it's like this like charming old timey circus aesthetic, but on such like a kind of dark lingering to it, which I think is so like interesting.
Yeah, it has a very dark tone that I feel like, I mean, the others have, but this one I feel like is consistent throughout the film.
This one I think is different from the other ones in that I think the dark tone feels like it's constantly trying to be covered up by different things, very rightfully so.
Yeah.
Because it's very intentional in that, like, oh, this is a circus, it's supposed to be fun, but then you're seeing the underneath of it, and it's all shady, and there's horrible stuff going on.
Yeah.
And then as he starts like climbing ranks, he's, you know, dealing with mobsters and risking his life to do very risky stuff for money.
Yeah.
And he's dealing with horrible people. So it feels like the tone, the edgy tone, is very unique to this movie in a very fascinating way.
Yeah.
And then Shape of Water, I love that movie. There was a reviewer who had randomly talked about it at one point. I think she was just like asked about what she thought of it, and I was like, hey, the entire movie I just kept thinking what everyone else was, hey lady, leave that fish alone. And that made the whole movie even better for me.
Yeah.
Because I think that's just such a funny line.
Yeah.
But I absolutely love the cast. I think it's a real highlight to how talented, not Sadie Hawkins,
Sally
Hawkins is to be mute in this movie and still so expressive and have such a great leading energy still.
Yeah.
I think that is such a talent.
Watching her spell out "fuck you" is really funny. I was like, no. The second she was like "F you," and I was like, oh no. And then she's like, "Thank you, bye."
I said thank you. What's the problem? I said thank you.
That's definitely what I just did with my hands, not something totally different than that.
The visuals, I love the whole theme of it. The entire movie is centered around people, you know, having these relationships that are either traditional and they hate them, or, you know, they want a real relationship, but there's society things that make what they want from a relationship seem taboo or, you know, not acceptable. And then here you have this relationship, which, you know, as an audience member, you feel like that is physically a monster in front of me.
Yeah.
And I think the movie does great work to, like, highlight why that relationship is important. And I don't know, I think it says a lot. And, I don't know, I adore it. It's very queer-coded. And the visuals are, it's just such a great movie.
Yeah.
And then at the very end, when it's like, when it has like the line where it's like, and what is the shape of your love? Title card, the shape of water. And I'm like, oh my god.
Wait, they ate that. No, imagine my surprise when I thought she was gonna be the fish, because I thought the gills were like actually gills at that point. And then that guy that came in, the boss or whatever, I thought they were gonna be the relationship. Imagine my shock. I very quickly was like, oh no. And then I saw the creature and I was like, okay, thank God.
Oh
She's
no,
not a fish.
he's hot.
It's them. Okay, thank God. Yeah, I feel like this is, if I think about it, this is definitely the most Frankenstein type GDT movie.
For sure.
For sure.
And I think
Very
that's also
similar.
funny because in the Hellboy movies, there's the fishman sidekick that lives in a water tank.
Yeah.
So
He likes
Guillermo
his
likes
fish, I
his
guess.
he likes some tropes and you see them recur a lot, but I think he does the work to make them feel unique whenever he brings them back.
Yeah.
So go you, GDT. Alrighty, so I wanted to ask you, now that we're talking into Frankenstein, how familiar are you with Frankenstein?
I don't know. I mean, I knew enough to know that technically Frankenstein is the doctor and the monster doesn't really have a name. But I mean, everybody calls him Frankenstein, so everybody knows what you're talking about. But honestly, not a crazy amount. I knew that it's, some adaptations he had like a bride. I have read at some point in high school, I had read the book, so that was really fun. I don't remember it enough to really compare like that and this adaptation, but I do remember really liking the book when I first read it. So, I know that the book was written by a woman, which shocks a lot
Mary
of people.
Shelley.
So, I don't know. I feel like to me it's obvious it was written by a woman in like the best way. But I think some people think it's so good that like they assume that it's a man. Plus it's like an older book. So I think part of that's a fair assumption. But anyways, I have not seen the original like older
The Universal Monster movie,
Yeah.
Frankenstein.
I have not seen that. So can't really speak to that. I need to watch that. I know. Don't come for me. You mentioned earlier Frankenweenie, which is really funny. I've seen that. But yeah, I don't know much besides just the basic, I feel like, overall universal knowledge of Frankenstein.
I want to
So.
check on some of these other Franken movies
Okay.
to see if you might be blanking.
Maybe.
Did you watch Lisa Frankenstein?
I did.
Thoughts on that one?
I liked it. I thought it was fun. I thought it was campy. I think it's underrated.
I think it's very underrated.
I remember you were talking about that forever, and you did eventually get me to watch it because you were talking about it so much, and I'm glad I did. I really liked it. So,
Man, I remember being so sad whenever that movie came out in this discussion about how it's like below mid, and I'm like, okay, I'll grant you I don't think it's a masterpiece, but I think it is just so fun.
yeah, I think
I
it's
cannot
really fun.
understand watching this and not having fun.
Yeah.
Frankly, in my hot take, because I know they're in the same universe, but I think that's because it's the same director. I think it's better than Jennifer's Body. My hot take, my hottest of takes. I did not enjoy Jennifer's Body that much.
Really?
Yeah.
So I would disagree with that personally. I do like Jennifer's Body a lot. But
Yeah, I understand that's a hot take,
yeah,
but
it's okay. You can have hot takes.
I don't know. No, I thought it was just so fun and so
Yeah.
campy.
Yeah.
So campy.
Yeah.
And then the only one I think you might have also seen is the Rocky Horror Picture Show. You've not seen the Rocky Horror Picture Show?
No, I know about it, but I'm sorry. I know I need to see a lot of musical adaptations. Like I have Moulin Rouge on my list. I have Burlesque. That's another one. Obviously, I've seen Phantom of the Opera. Although I want to see the version. I think her name's Emma Rossum. I don't know. She's the girl from Shameless. She
Okay.
was Christine at some point, and apparently she was really good. And I've heard clips, and she sounds really good. But I think she's in a movie adaptation, and I want to see that. But I've seen it live. Like I've seen the actual like live production. Yeah, I need to get on that. I started watching SpongeBob the musical the other day, like on Paramount because, well, I can't say that. Anyways, for my job, so, but just like the first like opening number, so I don't know if I want to watch the whole thing. His voice is just like annoying. I know it's supposed to be, but I just can't see like a human being doing that voice. I'm fine seeing. Anyways, I need to move on. You move on.
No, so
no, I haven't seen that. Have you seen that though? I'm guessing.
Yes, I have.
Yeah.
It's very fun.
Yeah.
Also, obviously, super campy.
Yeah.
A queer classic.
Yeah, I know. I need to see it. I know.
It's. I don't know. I expected campy. It gets crazy, crazier than I expected it to be. Especially because I feel like this is a very, maybe one of the biggest examples of queer media that, like, is kind of universally embraced, I would say, kind of in a very general sense as a cult classic. Like, some of the people who I've heard talk about it are not the people who consume queer media. So considering that, where it goes is... It's crazy to know the amount of people that I know have seen this and enjoyed it. Which I think is huge. Go Rocky Horror.
Yeah, exactly.
Frankenweenie, love it.
Of course.
What an ode to all of the classic monster movies.
Yeah.
So fun. Love the aesthetic. Animated Tim Burton. Hard to go wrong.
Yeah.
I'd also watched the original Frankenstein movie, Bride of Frankenstein, and The Son of Frankenstein. It's a trilogy. And I'd watched Frankenstein at the same time as watching a bunch of the classic Universal monster movies for the first time. Some of those, great, iconic classics. Some of those, kind of bad, actually. This one was in the middle for me.
Okay.
Because, you know, and I've not read Frankenstein. I've seen clearly a lot of the adaptations.
Yeah.
This first one has like zero nuance to it. Which is he made a monster, he got out, and then we had to kill it. It does have all of the classic, like all of the classic imagery that you think of Frankenstein comes from this. The windmill, the village. I mean, the classic Frankenstein look, as you can, like, the monster can be adapted in a lot of different ways. But this one's clearly the most iconic take on it.
Yeah.
And, you know, the visuals, I think, all look great, but the story is really just, he gets out after, and he has, like, some, like Igor-looking guy that, like, just wants to whip him while he's in chains. And then he's like, I don't want to be here. And then he gets out, and then he just starts killing people. And there's maybe a sense that he doesn't understand what he's doing, but like there's a scene that's talked about a lot where he meets a little girl by a lake, and she's like picking flowers, and he like is picking flowers with her, and then he throws her in the lake, and then the next scene the family comes by, he's like, oh my god, she drowned, and it's like, y'all really let your kid by the lake if she didn't know how to swim? No, I don't know. Frankly, you guys called that really fast after you called that like as she hit the water. You didn't try to go in for her.
Dang.
But there's just some stuff like that where the movie feels
disconnected.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I was surprised to see that the sequels, I actually like Bride of Frankenstein the most of the three.
Okay.
And then the third one I think is still better than the first. Because then it goes into... He survived. He fell underneath the windmill. And then he tried to find the doctor. And someone had been trying to convince the doctor to do it again. And, you know, because you get the Bride of Frankenstein.
Right.
And oddly enough, she's, like, not in the movie until, like, the last 10 minutes.
In her own titled movie?
In her own, yeah.
That's weird.
So then she's there, she's born, she's scared, and then I think she, like, and don't quote me on this one, because it's been a hot second since I watched this, and the ending is not as memorable. This is also where he I believe this is the one where he's with the old man in the house, the blind man,
Okay.
which we see here in Frankenstein, and I
Yeah.
love that.
Mm-hmm.
I love that so much.
Yeah.
But then the wife like freaks out by life and is scared of Frankenstein because you're born to be this eternal partner, and you didn't choose that.
Mm-hmm.
And then the lab burns down,
Mm-hmm.
and she goes with it.
Oh, okay.
And then Son of Frankenstein is Victor Frankenstein's son coming back,
Mm-hmm.
and dealing with the monster that, oh my gosh, the monster's real.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah. But
All right then.
it's-
I don't know if that makes me excited to watch it, to be honest.
it's
but-
weird. Like, the original Dracula, amazing. The original Wolfman, so fun.
Mm-hmm.
Then there's Frankenstein. Like, he's an icon,
Mm-hmm.
but
Maybe a little mid.
yeah, the design does a lot for him.
Yeah. Okay, fair enough.
So, with this one, what were you expecting?
I had pretty high expectations. I knew at least, if nothing else, this movie was going to look very pretty. Because obviously that, like, when people were seeing it in IMAX before it came out, that's all they were posting was, like, when it was burning down and he opens the doors. Like, that was the big picture on the IMAX screen that everyone was posting. I will admit, I had not seen much else. And I don't even know if I've ever seen a trailer for it, actually.
I remember the trailer when it dropped, because it had a bunch of visuals, but didn't, like, include a lot in the story of what was happening. It just like went through a bunch of shots and had some like voiceover to it.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, interesting. It looks gorgeous, but is this the trailer for a movie, or is this someone's like VFX resume?
And then I hadn't seen the monsters design for a while, but I actually really liked it. I was intrigued because it's very different. Obviously, like the original, it's like green and black hair and the bolts and everything. There was none of that. So I was very interested to see why the design was so different, and I think it paid off really well. I think it was crazy. I don't know if I would say it's awesome because it's kind of gross. I guess it's a bunch of like
It feels like a
skins.
very grounded design to him,
Yes,
which absolutely works for this.
it almost feels like a very realistic design, I guess.
No, for
Not
sure.
that this could happen, but if it could happen, this is like what it would look like in my mind. Mia Goth being in it not only as one but as two characters is crazy, and then a few days before seeing the other character she played with the eyebrows, like she was almost unrecognizable. Honestly, like I wonder if I would have even recognized her going into it.
Mm-hmm.
I probably would have, just because there's so few women in this film.
I feel like what would have happened is we would have been like, oh, why does she look so familiar?
Yeah.
And then we would have looked at it and been like, oh my gosh.
Yeah. So that was interesting to see.
I might be, I don't think I'm wrong on this,
Mm-hmm.
but I heard that she was supposed to play another role in the movie.
I'm not sure.
That
Sorry,
got,
he's
like-
trying to fall.
Ended up getting cut out.
I don't know. I don't
I don't know what else it would be.
Yeah.
But
That doesn't sound super familiar to me, but my memory, so that doesn't really mean much. I don't know, but she did great here. I love dual roles. This is like the year for that, especially in horror. So go her. They're never on screen at the same time, obviously, but she does a great job. So, because I keep seeing people bring up like the companion, and I'm like, that like barely counts. The second version of her's in it for like 2 seconds.
yeah.
No,
for sure.
I don't know
I
if
agree.
that really counts, but sure. Gosh, I don't know where I was going with this. I guess that's my expectation. Is I figured I would like it based off the cast, based off the design, based off the visuals I was seeing. Mia Goth is a huge plus for me. I was sad I had to watch it on Netflix. Honestly, the more and more I was hearing, like, we're putting it in more theaters, I was hopeful. But no, it wasn't anywhere near us, so oh well. Okay.
Dang. My expectations, like I said, I think the trailer looked great. I don't know if I would say it was a great trailer.
I'm seeing people say the one battle after another. They're like, now that we're seeing all the clips, can we admit this is a good trailer? And I'm like, no.
Yeah.
No. I'll die on that hill that it's not a good trailer. Great, phenomenal movie. Like, would not be mad if it won Best Picture. I will never, you'll never get me to admit it was a good trailer. So, yeah. Anyways.
What was I saying? But I will say Oscar Isaac, Mia Goth, with those visuals is like, I mean, you got me. I'm going to watch this movie no matter what.
Yeah.
And I'm in to be pitched why I sat here in the first place.
Yeah.
So I was very excited. I was very interested to see how Jacob Elordi was as the monster.
He's had some hit or misses.
Yes. I mean,
For
I
sure.
think...
Like the kissing booth.
You know what? I haven't seen him in that.
You haven't?
I haven't seen the kissing booths.
Oh,
Don't tell me I need to.
You don't.
Don't dare tell me that.
I will never tell you that. Ooh, that's like... The only thing I can think to compare it to, which I hate to compare it to this, is to All the Boys I Loved. But there's like actual things to like about those films. There's not. You're kissing. I mean, it's pretty bad. There's 3 of them, so it's yeah.
But everything I've seen him in, and there's a lot of range to that. I've enjoyed his performance. I would say this is the first time. No, this is the second time I've loved his performance. I loved him in Priscilla.
Yes.
I think he, frankly, then this, you know what? We'll add another hot take to it. I think he performs Elvis Presley better than Elvis did. I
think there's something to be said that he didn't need to like permanently change his voice to do the voice. Someone brought up a good point the other day that, do you ever hear of actors doing method acting for good moral characters? So
that's a great point.
I think there's something to be said about, you know, having that excuse to be an asshole to everyone around you for months to years.
That's fair.
Something to be said.
But that going into the, like, those are still very different roles.
Yes.
And I loved the, we'll get into him in a bit, but I was particularly interested to see where he landed in all of this.
Well, and in this film, he doesn't talk a whole lot either. He does talk, unlike Sally Hawkins' character in Shape of Water, but a lot of his performance is very physical. Yes, and even like, it's hard for him to do a lot with his face either because, it's not like he has eyebrows. It's not like, he has a bunch of prosthetics and makeup and everything on.
Oh, but his eyes.
But he does so much with how little he has. So.
For sure.
Great.
Ugh.
When he was chasing that leaf and in the stream, that first time he sees a leaf, like, I was like, oh, I'm going to love this film. I think that was the scene where I was like, this is great. Officially.
Indeed.
So, and then he gives it, she's like, a leaf for me? Thank you. I love the way she says that.
It's so cute. Oh, it's so cute.
Mia Goth is amazing.
No, I would...
Her hair in this movie. It's giving Crimson Peak with the long hair.
It really is.
Yeah.
No, I would say I enjoyed this movie probably right off the bat. Like, right when we see the monster trying to get on the boat is when I'm like, I'm eating this.
Yeah.
But I would say I loved it whenever she meets the monster. And I'm like, this is something special.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, so we already kind of started this conversation, but do you want to elaborate more on some of the best parts of this movie for you?
Mia Goth in her entirety. I love that her introduction is like the first conversation she has is challenging war and thinking about what that means for the men. it's not a new conversation, but for the time period this movie takes place in, that's a very powerful and bold conversation. I just love her entire journey in this film. I wonder what the reason was. I guess I know, like, they probably casted her in both that role and Victor's mother's role, because it was like he's filling the gap of his mother and not actually loving and caring for her. I wish maybe they explored that a little bit more. I don't want to get too much into that because I know we're in best parts, but just a little thought. Let me think. I feel like, am I crazy for saying it's very Bridgerton? How she like died from childbirth because they didn't care about her. They just cared about the child. The mom, when she was the mom.
Right. No,
Yes.
that's fair.
Yeah. They also used the same house, and they used that same house in Bridgerton. I believe it's the castle that the queen lives in. I think it's the same set, the same house, because it has the same painting in the background.
Interesting.
Anyway, I noticed that. I was like,
Oh, Netflix.
I know that painting. Yeah, Netflix. Gosh, I'm trying to think. Okay. Anytime they were on the boat, I think that was a great. I feel like probably my favorite part was either anything between him and Mia Goth's character.
Him being
Elizabeth.
the creature?
Yes. Or the creature and the old man. I think those are two of, like, the strongest parts for me.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh, when the doors were open and he was walking back, I was like, I will cry right now. I will cry.
Which part are we talking about?
When you realize that the old man got eaten by the
Yes.
wolves.
Oh my gosh.
That's so sad. Anyways, fuck those wolves. Let me think. Also, when he's learning how to talk, probably the old man, I would say, is my favorite any scene with them, and then Elizabeth is like a close second.
Mm-hmm.
I just feel like maybe they didn't have it. I don't know if they had as much scenes together, or if they just weren't quite as emotional. I'm not sure. Yeah. I feel like I'm struggling to think of things. I already shouted out the visuals, the production.
Want me to
design.
jump in?
Yes.
A little bit everything. So
Right?
costume design.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, Mia Goth's costumes, so fun. Even the monsters like
The
coat,
spine thing
the
on her
spine,
dress.
looking just
Ate
like
that.
the monster spine, the creature's spine, not
Yeah.
monster, and that like Frankenstein's red gloves ate.
Mm-hmm. The whole like blood on his hands symbolism. I love that. Honestly, like, they might have costuming in the back.
I
like,
hear they do.
I agree.
The wedding dress.
Yes. And then also, like, the makeup, I think they have a pretty good chance. Because, like, did you see that video where they spent, like, 11 hours putting on Jacob Elordi's
No,
stuff?
that's-
Oh, my gosh.
It's so crazy that this and Predator came out back to back, because I was like, man, Predator's got so much production, like, has a pretty decent shot at production for a lot of stuff. And then this came out literally that same week, and I was like, well, never mind.
You're like, well, damn.
Sorry, Predator Badlands.
Yeah, honestly, like, with hair and makeup as well, it's like, y'all got some competition.
Yeah, and Frank,
So-
I don't know. Especially for costume, I don't know what could come near it, because it's so elaborate and yet beautiful and, like, perfect, basically.
I agree.
Gosh. Love Victor... Not Victor. Love...
I feel like Sinners is really good too. I like their costumes.
Yes,
Maybe
but...
they're not quite as, like, I don't know,
Detailed.
symbolic. Yeah, it's like the details and the symbolism. They have some symbolism, and there are iconic outfits. I feel like, honestly, if it wasn't for this, they would probably be my pick as most likely to win, but this is just so good.
Yeah, it's hard to beat, period.
Yeah.
Especially when it's done really well. We'll see, because Wicked won it last year.
True.
We'll see. I feel like it's probably going to be between Wicked for Good and this.
Yeah.
And
And
Wicked won last year.
Apparently, they cut the scene with that really ugly Glinda dress. So they're like,
I
"We
love
can't
that for
let
you. I'm so happy that you don't have to see that now. And I'm glad I don't have to hear you be like, "Ugh," in the theater. So in a full theater.
Okay. I have better composure.
I'm
than
glad I
that.
don't have to hear you go,
That sounded-
gag.
It sounded like a sneeze, not a gag.
Boo! Throws popcorn at screen.
No, everyone's calling it the cupcake dress. It's like, boo, throw a cupcake at the screen.
And that's just, it sticks and it's there the rest of the movie.
We need to be done. We need to put down.
Other best parts, gosh, I love the old man.
Yes.
There were some things as we were going that I was like, I want a windmill in the finale, and I want to see an old man. I want to see a blind old man, and I want to see their friendship. And then I remember literally like, let's go! As soon as like we see the old man, and it's like, is he blind? Is he blind? He's blind!
It's the like commercial in our theater that plays right before the movie starts where they're like all dramatic throwing popcorn and they're like, oh my god!
No, that was literally me. But I was so right. It was so good. Vindication.
Every time that commercial plays in theaters, we always try to come up with something funny to say based off the movie we're about to watch. So for Frankenstein, it'd be like when the old man shows up.
Gosh. I love also the script. This script has some bars. And I'm sure some of them are probably from the original Frankenstein book. However,
I'm sure.
What a shame that I've not heard these lines. Like, that book came out over, like hundreds of years ago. Why is it not being... Like, those lines are just so great. The miracle isn't that I should speak, it's that you should listen.
Yeah. Something like... I forgot exactly how the line goes, but when he's talking about, like, you may be my master, but I'm in control now or something. When he's, like, getting onto him, or, like, I will be your end or something. Like, I don't remember how that line goes, but it was really good. I wish I was clocking it more. Don't blame that on the movie. Blame that on my brain.
Now, another big line that I loved was Victor's say my name, say it when it meant everything to you.
Mm-hmm.
Gosh.
That's so sad.
That's so sad. God. Okay. I think we covered a lot of the best parts. Worst parts of this movie.
I don't really know if there is any.
And there's like an asterisk to this, for sure.
It's like the least good parts, I would say, is the more accurate for what I'm saying. And it's really just some things that I thought maybe were a little underdeveloped. Like I would have liked to see a little bit more between the creature and Elizabeth. I would have liked to see more between her and her husband, and that whole like Victor Frankenstein, like trying to insert himself in that relationship, and him and his brother. Gosh, I don't know much else.
I'm gonna circle back to the deer, and I know there was at least one other animal that didn't look great. It wasn't the wolves. There was something else.
And then the scene, honestly, the only scene that I could even remember that stuck out to me was when they're like collapsing the tower, and those, I forgot what they were, but it's part of his experiment. But something was falling down like the little like tunnel. I thought that actually looked kind of bad. I think it's hard because it's not bad, it's just not as amazing as the rest of it. So like you said, it sticks out a lot. So
Sure.
kind of like Fantastic Four for me.
No, I think
Might
that's
be
a fair
crazy.
comparison.
Yeah. Some people might be mad I'm comparing that. But, like, you know, you see the beautiful space scene, and then, you know, parts of, like, Franklin, and it sticks out because, you know, he may not be a Renesmee, but, like, he's not the space thing either, so.
No, that's
Yeah.
fair.
Yeah.
Parts. I would say I think I like the amount that we got of like the Frankenstein love triangle of it all.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't think I
guess I just wish they maybe talked about a little bit more, or even hinted at a little bit more of the comparison between her and his mother.
No, that's fair. I think especially with the great bars that like the creature and the doctor relationship have, being like being able to say these grand things in such concise sentences.
Mm-hmm.
I do wish that maybe in those relationships you were able to drop some bangers like that as well.
Yeah.
Especially because being a goth would have ate them.
Mm-hmm.
And on some of them she did. Like the scene in the confessional, Your Honor.
She ate that. She said, "I'm not dumb. I've been clocking you before you even got here." She really, that's what she said, basically.
Oh, so good. So, some themes. Some very classic themes, but I think they just all come together so well here.
Yeah.
We have the cycle of abuse.
Mm-hmm.
It reminds me a lot of The Color Purple, where the strength of forgiveness comes from the forgiver, not what they're forgiving.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely love that here. Obviously, forgiveness is a huge part of that.
Mm-hmm.
Love and community. I love how important it is for the creature to find those people that do see him for what he is.
Mm-hmm.
And how important it is to find those, those people and, be of service to them, which is also therefore in service to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
With the old man and with Elizabeth. I think having him and Elizabeth have, not a ton of scenes together, but still have that be so important.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's just so, I don't know, I think that adds to the tragedy that is what his existence is, with so early on, whenever Victor was everything to him.
Mm-hmm.
And then here comes this, like, completely different, like, plane of existence coming in, and his reality completely changes as to what he can expect from life. And then the power that clearly sticks with him over the years, right? It's years that he's with old man.
I think so.
It's at least a huge jump of time. But I think it all works really well to add into the whole tragedy of it all.
Mm-hmm. I also like that he's been loved and cared for by two distinct people, not only the blind man, but also Elizabeth, because it goes to show that it's not all about his looks either. A lot of people may be afraid of him because of his looks, but, like, you are capable of finding love in spite of that. I think that's
I think that's
important.
an interesting note between the difference between the two relationships, because I think very clearly there's a romance between the creature and Elizabeth.
For sure.
Yeah, obviously. And I love someone pointed out, like, whenever the creature's taking her out of the mansion on her wedding night, the crowd parts like the aisle would, which I think is... She's
literally the bride of him.
Ugh, I love that so much.
Well,
but
I guess she's not, but she's wearing, like, the dress, yeah.
But the idea that, this blind man doesn't see him, but still judges him for who he is, not, what he looks like. But then here you have that dynamic where she does see what he looks like and still clearly has these feelings, I don't want to say in spite of, but regardless.
Yeah.
Which I think is, beautiful.
I think it's interesting because we don't often, I honestly can't even off the top of my head right now think of, I'm sure there is, but can you think of any where, like, the roles are reversed, where it's like the girl is, like, a monster or whatever, and there's a guy that likes her? I'm sure there's gotta be somewhere. I know it's not near as popular, but there's
that one Victorious episode.
Oh god.
Gosh.
They're really, like, I feel like, honestly, there's probably a big one that I'm forgetting. Oh,
Shallow Hal comes to mind, but I hate
oh
that.
God, you're gonna laugh when I say what I just thought of.
Oh,
The
gosh.
like Hotel Transylvania with the animated one.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Although I feel like even as a vampire, she's still conventionally like.
Oh,
attractive.
for sure. If anything, it's the reverse where
So.
he's, essentially the monster by being human.
Yeah.
Oh my God,
But
Bart.
I don't know. I can't, off the top of my head, think of one where it's like a female's a monster that looks scary for whatever reason, and it's like a conventionally attractive guy that's falling for her. So let us know in the comments if you could think of any, because I'm sure we're forgetting something. But I think that does.
And
go to show
otherwise,
that-
there's an untapped market here.
I mean, there is. I think there's something to be said that it's often women that are portrayed like that, where they can look beyond that.
And
look
especially
into the
here in a
heart, so-
period piece like this,
Mhm.
where the idea is like, I mean, even just look to, like you said, her first line. She comes in talking about how these men who, with so much pride and so much, they think so much of themselves, but they don't, but they overlook the consequences that their actions have on others.
Mhm.
And that's the whole dynamic between Frankenstein and his creature. And the idea that women are so much more inclined to see the misunderstood because they're judged by face value as well.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Crazy.
the beauty of life, I think the creature just escaping the dungeon and finding the beauty of just nature, and people, even if he Quasimodo-esque can't be a part of it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's another one. Although Esmeralda's, I mean, she's nice to him, but they're not love interests in that movie. So.
Yeah.
And also, I do love that scene where he meets the deer, even if the deer looks a little wonky. Because I feel like he has really very little, knowledge on, like, sharing and kindness. I mean, he gives, like, Elizabeth the leaf, but I feel like Elizabeth's a little different for him. So just the fact that was his instinct to see a creature that wasn't afraid of him and then share the food he had, I think is very sweet.
No, for sure. And the idea of, I put nature versus nurture. I don't know if that's, because I think another great thing about the creature is that he's so capable of love and, wanting love despite what he comes from with Victor.
Yeah.
I don't know. The whole idea that he's, able to overcome it, and he's all the better for it, for not being afflicted and becoming, the monster because of what was done to him. I think that's really great. And I think it, just becomes, I feel like that alone is why this is, like, people are regarding it as the Frankenstein movie. I think very rightfully so, because it has such a powerful message that clearly is intended in the book.
Yeah.
But I think it brings that into a very relatable and a very modern lens here, even though it's such a period piece, and it is so unapologetically a period piece.
Yeah.
But the subject matter, to the script, to the performances, make it something that most people can, like, really relate to.
Yeah, I think, some people might say that some of the themes are fairly simple. And I don't know, maybe they are, but I feel like there's something to be said that they're still done really well. And they're modernized in whatever capacity they can be, while also being a period piece. It's based off of really old books, so those probably were, like, pretty bold ideas at the time. And I feel like there's something to be said that this is, for most people, the first adaptation that seems the most accurate to the book. So, I don't know. Not that the other adaptations are necessarily bad. Like we said, we both like Lisa Frankenstein, but obviously that's way different, like completely different worlds. So, yeah, I think there's something to be said there. I'm like, well, this is the first one that's really done it accurately well. So, there you go.
And then, judgment on face value. I think we talked about that a lot with Elizabeth.
Yeah.
Any other themes you can think of? That is a lot that we have just listed.
Yeah, not really. Just the whole, like with forgiveness, it's like it starts out, like, trying to, it's almost like, it is an abusive relationship where he's trying to take back power, maybe gets a little carried away where he does become violent, but then he realizes that and makes a change. And I think that's something wildly different that Victor Frankenstein did not do. And maybe Victor Frankenstein realized it at the end, but at that point it was too late to really make a change. But yeah, that kind of goes along with like the psycho abuse thing too.
No, I think that's well said.
Yeah.
I kind of wanted next just go through our cast. Talk about maybe some more details on their performance, maybe them as actors. I wanted to start with Victor Frankenstein as portrayed by Oscar Isaac.
I think he's always great. I think he does great here. Gosh, I always just think of the red gloves. The red gloves were such a good choice. I think he honestly captures a lot of aspects of the character. The madness, of course, but also the genius. Like, he's still very smart, even if he goes a little crazy and gets carried away. Yeah, I don't know if I would say... It's hard for me to say, like, he's, like, evil at heart. I think he just gets too carried away with having an idea of his creation and not wanting anything outside of that box. Obviously, that makes him become abusive and a bad person and make a lot of bad choices. I don't know. It's hard for me to sit here and say, though, that he's just, like, at heart an evil person.
Well, it's so interesting. And I think it's something you can see very clearly today with people not being able to identify people as human. And then it's just really tragic when that becomes, like, Victor's everything to the creature at that point. And all he wants is connection, and Victor's just unable to see him as something that can have that. Like, there's just a, like, core disconnect as to what the creature is to him. And even though the creature's capable of, feeling and eventually getting to, like, super, like, extravagant and grand ideas and thoughts, he clearly expected the creature to kind of come out pre-made. And there's this, like, classic idea of, parenting isn't easy, and if you want to have great children, there's a lot of work that goes into making great children. It's not something that just happens.
I think it's also interesting how I feel like he never stops to think about the mental part of what he's creating. He only ever thinks about the fact that it's moving and it's alive. So I wonder if he even really had and thought about those expectations of, I expect, if this works, for him to talk and be an intelligent creature. Or if he just kind of in the back of his mind always assumed that, which is why he's so disappointed.
And I think his brother even has the line of, like, so you didn't think of what would happen after it became alive?
Yeah. I think maybe that's a theme in itself of, like, I don't know how you would phrase it, but that happens a lot, or a fair amount in movies where they just have a goal and it's so tunnel visioned.
No, I would say,
I feel like
I just watched a Reddit reading video that talks about, like, one of the stories was about someone who got their AI boyfriend to propose to them. And that spiraled into a whole conversation about, AI being something that was so unchecked as a technology that, like, even though we've had so many warnings about the horrible things that AI could do if left unchecked. It still is.
Yeah.
And the idea that these creators are so focused on what they can do and not concerned on
If they should do it.
if they should or what the effects on it, what happens after you do this.
Yep.
I think that's very relevant here, actually. I think it's a great other thing to find.
Well, it's like, the everyday person using ChatGPT or AI to create quick art or answer questions for them. It's just so easy for them. They don't think about, in 50 years, maybe not even that long, what that will mean. Like, there might not be any artists anymore, or not that there's not going to be any artists, but that they won't be getting paid for their work, so they're going to do something else, so they're not going to be accessible. So when AI can't create something they want, is there going to be anyone left to do it for you? And there's a lot of misinformation with AI when you ask them questions, because they're not a perfect system. And especially when you start to get into the moral questions, it's impossible to really answer for them. There's a lot of complications with that. I think that's a very good discussion. So,
but just the idea of unchecked technology progress like that. Obviously AI is the most relevant thing in our generation, but I would say it's maybe, you know what? I'll compare it to Oppenheimer. The idea of Oppenheimer working day and night to make the atomic bomb. Yeah. And then right after it's used, the idea of, gosh, I guess I didn't think about what would happen if the world has atomic bombs. I think it's a very universal message as well. And I think tying that into Our Doctor, I don't think that's ever been super explored with the Frankenstein story before.
Yeah, I also just think it's interesting that we see later that he's very much capable of learning to talk. And so it's just crazy that he had the capacity to teach him to talk, but he just wasn't patient enough. And just, again, it's he's tunnel visioned. It's he can't right now, so he can't. He's just stupid. And I should just give up on him. And if I can't hit him enough times to get him to talk, then he just can't talk. And it's every teacher in the world would tell you that that's not ever going to get you the results you want, ever.
Yeah.
But he didn't stop to think about that. He just, again, had a new goal in mind, and that's the way he was going to get it done, or it wasn't going to get done at all. And then later discovering that he could talk. So, yeah. Interesting. Food for thought.
Like it. So I think
we talked a lot about the creature and Elizabeth already, I feel like.
Yes. Before we leave Oscar Isaac, I do want to just kind of mention, I think in the talks of the performances, I think his is, I would say, of our main three, the least talked about.
Yeah.
I think maybe a little validly so. Obviously, this is a movie about the creature. I think Elizabeth does a lot with not as much Elizabeth, sorry. With as much screen time. And I will say, I think as far as Oscar Isaac goes, this feels, I don't know, it feels like it feels like this is a role that he should have been playing for a while now. He plays kind of nuanced bad guy very well here. Even if I can't, off the top of my head, name a performance where he's done this before.
And despite the fact that it's titled Frankenstein, I do feel like it's very appropriate to have the Doctor be the least interesting character here. I don't really have much more to say about that, but I actually, if that was a decision, I like that decision. I feel like it kind of, at least subconsciously, had to be because somebody wrote the script. So, yeah, I think he did a solid job here. I don't think he stood out, but I'm glad he didn't stand out.
Sure.
I would say.
And then last question on Oscar Isaac. How do you think this compares to some of his other performances?
Do you have pulled up what else he's been in? Obviously, Star Wars, Moon Knight,
we have The Father in Dune.
Right.
Miguel O'Hara was another big one, but that's a vocal
Yeah.
performance. He's Apocalypse in X-Men Apocalypse.
Ugh.
He's in Annihilation. I think he's great in Annihilation as
I
well.
haven't seen that.
Oh, it's
Really?
actually, I would say in Annihilation he's kind of similar to the creature,
Okay.
which is very interesting.
Interesting.
You should watch it. It's Annihilation is directed by the Alex Garland,
Ooh, fun.
right? Make sure I'm not making
Yeah.
that up. Yeah. Moon Knight. He's Gomez in the Addams Family animated movies. Those are most of his... The big ones I've seen. Apparently he's in Ex Machina, which I've heard is good. Also Alex Garland. And Drive.
Oh, I've heard of that. I feel like I'm pretty sure that's one of the ones at the Oscars that like people don't want to talk about. So I'm pretty sure that's one of them.
But I would say this is certainly up there.
I think so.
Definitely at least in the most developed. I mean, this feels like his best like opportunity to shine as an actor.
I think so.
So
yeah.
I think inherently it's pretty high up there for me.
It's honestly crazy to me that he hasn't been in more roles and shined more because he's very talented. I will say obviously like he got a lot of attention from Star Wars for sure, and I think a lot of people loved his character. You know, even if it was underdeveloped, it certainly wasn't. The only
Somehow
one of those
Palpatine
movies.
returned.
God, I'm so sorry he had to deliver that line.
And then here he says, somehow the creature returned.
God. I do love him. Like, I would watch him in more Star Wars stuff. Like, I think he's great. Same with Finn. Like, all of them. I just wish they got more development.
I'll
But
watch
it's
him in
not their
anything.
fault.
I think
They
he's-
were great.
He's such a fun actor to watch. And I think here
And
is
I
a
love
great
that-
opportunity of him also just being a great actor.
Yes, yeah. Very fun.
Okay, moving on next to the creature, Jacob Elordi. We've talked a little bit about some of the stuff that he's been in. I think Priscilla was my favorite role he's had until this point. This is, I think, a clear highlight. I think this, in a perfect world, this is like a career-defining
Oh my god, I
role
forgot
for
about
him.
Saltburn. He was in
So- he was-
Saltburn.
And that, yeah, because then
Crazy.
that's directed by the person who's doing Wuthering Heights, which I guess is his next project.
If it wasn't Wuthering Heights, honestly, I'd be
Wuthering
more
Heights.
excited about it. And I don't know much about Wuthering Heights. I did buy the book because I do want to read it, just because of the discussion around it. But just from what I hear, and I have no personal opinion on this because, like I said, I haven't read the book. But a lot of people say in the book they make it clear that Heathcliff is a person of color. Again, can't comment on that, but that's just what I hear a lot of. So if that's true, that's, you know, not good. But also, I am curious too because they say also Margot Robbie is not a good pick either for, I think her name's Catherine. So that'll be interesting. And it's supposed to be a story, you know, they're advertising it as the greatest love story of all time, which I think is bold in itself, because I just think that's objectively not true already without even knowing the story.
How old is Wuthering Heights?
It's pretty old.
Because I think I saw somewhere that like the idea was like it was supposed to inspire Romeo and Juliet. I don't know. No, am I thinking of Hamlet? I might be.
Yeah,
just
I
thinking
feel
of
like
Hamlet.
Romeo and Juliet is the most iconic love story of all time. Even if it's toxic because it leads them to their death. 1847. That's when the book came out, apparently. Tom Hardy, he's apparently in an adaptation. He's on the pop-up when I searched it. So, but apparently people are saying it shouldn't be labeled as that because it's a very, very toxic love. It's supposed to comment on how obsessive love can be so destructive to everyone and everything around them. So I do think that's interesting. You know, I'm sure that it's still going to be very popular. I'm sure it's going to be like it, and it ends with a situation where even if the film comes out and it's controversial. Like, a lot of people thought it would be leading up to it, because that book is controversial as well. It's still going to make a lot of money because a lot of people are talking about it. So, I still think it's going to make a lot of money. Not that that's, making it okay, but that'll be interesting. I'm sure he's going to be good in it. And I'm excited to see the adolescence kid
Yes.
in it. So, and I like Margot Robbie, but I haven't read the book, so I would like to read it closer
I'm
to
excited
the
to see,
movies.
when we get closer to it, more elaboration on these thoughts and in that controversy.
That's why I want to wait to read it closer to, so I can,
because
obviously more.
Having a white person take that role
That would
is
be
not
pretty
great.
bad. Mm-hmm.
I can see where they're coming from with the idea of the theme of unhealthy obsessive love, because that's where Jacob Elordi got his whole start in Euphoria.
Yeah.
There was a 3-period time where that's what he was most known for.
Yeah.
So I can understand where that choice came from, even if it's still not right. But I look forward to seeing people who are very into the book explain that.
Yeah, well, and the director, what's her name?
Emerald Fennelly?
A lot of people, I need to watch more of her work, but a lot of people do say that she has very beautiful films, which I would agree with from what I've seen so far from her, even just from this trailer. It looks very visually stunning, but the script is just kind of, they always have crazy twists and choices. So we'll see what, this is just a trailer, so obviously, if Heathcliff was supposed to be the person of color, there's not really much you can defend on that, because obviously that's not going to change. But as far as the content of the film, the trailer may be trying to lure people in with the chemistry and the sexiness or whatever, and they might explore the things that people want it to explore. We just haven't seen that, because I feel like if you show, oh, this love looks really toxic and terrible, it's not really how you sell a film. So, I don't know. I think we shall see.
Did you watch Promising Young Woman?
No. But that's one of the ones I really want to watch by her.
Yeah.
So.
I don't know. And I will say, I know it was maybe a tad divisive, but I loved Saltburn.
Me too. I did too. But I mean, and I think that's a very toxic, obsessive love.
Yeah.
So she can do it. She's capable of doing it. We will see if she chooses to do it here. I would be shocked if she did not.
My God, was she Mitch?
We'll
I
see.
think she was Mitch and Barbie.
Yeah. I remember
Interesting.
seeing that. Mm-hmm.
Crazy, I didn't know that. Very fun. But, yeah, I'm interested to see how that all plays out as we get closer to it. But after that, where do you think Jacob Elordi should or will go next?
Well, there's something else that he's confirmed to be in. Can you see if you can find anything on that? I saw that the other day because someone made a joke about it on Twitter that he saw, there's something along the lines of he saw the comments on Wuthering Heights and had to remind people that he was locking in or something like that. I don't remember. I know nothing about what the film was.
Of course, he was in the Pirates of the Caribbean movie?
I couldn't tell you. I haven't seen those movies in a hot minute.
Is he upcoming?
Yeah. I don't know. Ooh, he would be really fun on White Lotus as well.
Wuthering Heights, The Dog Stars, Euphoria, and Outer Dark?
I don't know. Maybe it's one of those. But people were already more excited for it. Thought it was going to be more serious. So.
Okay. I do think Frankenstein is going to make him a pretty big get for directors in the circle.
So. Mm-hmm.
I think he's quickly risen up to a very up-and-coming actor.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. if you heard me because you were busy, but I was mentioning White Lotus could be fun. I don't know. Let me think. We're doing like a romance. We've done a comedy romance. We've done some dramas, drama TV.
I feel like it would be
biopic.
I feel like it'd be an interesting test to see how he does in action.
Action and horror, I feel like, would be very different for him from what we've seen. So we'll see.
And you know what? I will say he did amazing in the Gothic era here, and then he's still doing some period piece work in Wuthering Heights. Mm-hmm. And we'll talk about it a little later, but there's kind of a surge in Gothic horror and storytelling that's kind of researching. I think there's a lot of opportunity for him
and GDT, like, people are already talking about all the other things he could now adapt. So he can come back for some of those. I wonder if he can sing.
No, I was kind of thinking the exact same thing.
Me, I have no idea if he can sing.
Him and Rachel?
No, well, and that would eat. But also, he is known to be a big book reader. There's a pretty popular photo of him with, like, a paperback in his hand and in his back pocket, because people think it's, like, really hot. Not only because it's Jacob Elordi, but also, like, he's a reader, so oh my gosh. Anyways, so maybe some book adaptations. I mean, this is a book adaptation. Maybe,
and so is this next one.
More like, yeah, maybe more like modern rom-com book adaptations or dramas, or I think of like The Housemaid. As much as that trailer scares me a little bit, I did really like that book, so maybe more up that alley. That's a little bit, I don't know if I'd say horror. It's more thriller. Maybe some thrillers could be fun for him. That would be more up his alley of what he's done. But I would be interested to see maybe some action.
You know what? Him in like an Eggers movie, actually.
Mm-hmm. I also could totally see him playing a really good... That's why I said White Lotus, because I could see him playing a really good, like, snobby rich person.
Yeah, from Saltburn, because he did that in Saltburn.
Yeah, but like, now I kind of need the White Lotus. But anyways.
No.
Yeah.
It's great picks. Next up we have Lady Frankenstein and Elizabeth as from Mia Goth.
Yeah. You know, we've seen horror from her. We've seen drama. We've seen period piece. I would be very interested to see her in a rom-com. I really, really want her in a rom-com. So, that's where I would like to see her next. Honestly, anywhere. I think action could be interesting.
Well, she is supposed to... When Blade is eventually made,
True.
She's going to be Lilith.
We'll see. We'll see, because scheduling conflicts interfere a lot, so...
With her and with
if that happens.
Mahershala, my thought is they have brought it up, and when it's very clear, you can no comment it. So I think they continue to at least express interest in being in it. I would say when they don't need to be, which is why I think it would take a lot for her to not continue to be in it.
Well, and I'd imagine she'd probably get a pretty good paycheck for that too, which she deserves. And I also can't imagine she's been in enough things to really be like, I don't need that. I feel like she probably still does kind of need that. So.
Sure. I mean,
she'd kill it. So.
I would say Frankenstein is like probably her biggest push into the mainstream. And Blade is going to be more so than that.
But I mean, also like Pearl is huge, especially now that David Cornswet is Superman and people are watching that for him. But people have already watched Pearl, and that Halloween costume is pretty popular. I've seen a few this year even, so she's iconic, even if people maybe don't totally recognize that it's her.
I love her in Pearl. I think Pearl is my favorite role of her. And frankly, I think it's going to be really hard to beat because I think she is so phenomenal in that movie.
I agree. Gosh, I would love her in a rom-com, though.
Be interested to see how that works. I don't know. She's such like a horror face, though. Like, she's so Scream Queen energy or antagonist.
Mm-hmm. It'd be interesting.
Ugh. And then there's Maxine. And on Mia Goth and that whole trilogy, how did you feel about X?
I liked X. I thought it was solid.
I made a huge issue in that I watched Pearl first.
Oh.
And then I watched
no.
and I watched X not knowing I was supposed to watch X first. And then I was like, so what are we doing here? I almost was like, so is the twist that, like, one of these characters is going to go off and make a movie about Pearl?
Oh, no.
And like, that's why all of these places look similar. It's very bizarre. And I feel like because of that, I did not enjoy it nearly as much as I would have in the opposite.
No, X is good. I like that. I feel like Pearl's definitely my favorite of the three. Maxine's definitely my least favorite of the three. But X is pretty good.
I don't know. I truly attribute it to just watching it out of order.
Yeah,
I feel so bad.
Oh.
But okay, next up, I wanted to leave some room for other potential standouts in the cast.
The blind man.
Blind man, I think he ate the kid from Sweet Tooth who played young Victor. I loved seeing him.
Good.
Oh, and then there was the guy who played Bash from Only Murders. Thoughts on him? He was very short-lived. And playing the exact same role, essentially.
Yeah, I feel like, honestly, for me, I liked young Victor. But yeah, the old blind man, that's it for me. Everyone on the boat was just fine. Victor's dad, Mia's husband and uncle and everything. It was okay.
No, I agree. Visual standouts. There's two things I actually can't believe we haven't talked about already, which is the Archangel. Love that visual.
Yeah.
And how that just kind of keeps expanding and growing.
Every time she popped up.
And then the coffins.
Yeah. The coffins, like, I was like, wait a second, I need that.
This is how your email finds me. POV.
I can't die until I have enough money for
that coffins visit.
Yes. Yeah. It's serving.
I know you're dead, but you will be giving face.
Yes, serving face until the end. No, that was iconic. The whole, for sure, when the house was burning down, the entirety of, like, the wedding day sequence when he shows up, finds Elizabeth, brings her down the stairs, brings her to the cave, like, all of that was stunning. Anything with the boat, but specifically when he's dragging Victor across the snow. I don't know. Everything?
Kind of everything.
Except for, like, the couple of like, VFX moments, but
no,
everything that was practical. And I love that he's not only very heavily condemning AI, but that he's also talking about, I think it's important to talk about both sides, not just condemning AI, but talking about why it's important to do practical things. And he says, because if you can tell that it's fake, it immediately takes you out of it. So, like, they built the entire boat. Like, the entire boat's real. Not only do I think that's amazing, because that's giving people jobs that are very talented and that can do those things, but two, because I think he's very valid in that I think you can tell the difference. So, unless you're like Avatar, don't be coming here and being like, you can't tell. I think subconsciously you can. So, yeah. Avatar's in a different league. We don't even need to, like, that's just, like, Pandora's real. Like, that's not even, so.
Yeah. I put costume standouts. I think we already touched on that.
Yeah.
Gothic adaptation revival. I think Nosferatu was kind of like the official, like, and now everyone's gonna be obsessed with this again.
Yeah.
I feel like in, like, the 90s there was kind of this aesthetic. I would say, like, Interview with the Vampire, a lot of vampire stuff, actually.
Even, like, that now that's a show, and that's a hugely growingly popular show. I'm trying to think what else. And now I'm getting too much in. Now I'm thinking Vampire Diaries, and that doesn't count. And now I'm just thinking too much of vampires. I feel like even like Wednesday has like.
No, I'd agree.
You know. So.
People yearn for the gothic, for the Tim Burton of it all.
They do.
But
They really do.
some upcoming stuff to keep an eye out for in this space. I know a Christmas Carol adaptation is coming out. I think a live action one. I think there's some potential for that to be very fun.
Mm-hmm.
Werewolves. Gothic werewolves from the director of Nosferatu.
Okay.
I think that's a great pitch.
Mm-hmm.
I think those are the majority of the ones that I'm tracking. I know there's probably much more. And then I open this up to what other adaptations do you think could fit this aesthetic?
Oh, well, again, I think Phantom in the Opera
Easy
is
one.
perfect.
Yes.
Gosh, talk about something else while I find
Yep.
that, actually. Because I saw it on Twitter where people suggested, like, 4 different things.
I actually really want to see a modern adaptation of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde.
Yes, I feel like that was one.
I would absolutely love to see this done by someone with a great script and some great visuals. I had watched, like, the original one from forever ago, and I hated it. And I feel like it hasn't been given its due as an actual movie. And I think there's some very interesting stuff to talk about, especially right now with, like, you know, alpha culture and looks at toxic masculinity. I think there's some very interesting stuff you could do with that story. Other ones I would look at, because they redid The Invisible Man. They tried to remake Wolfman. I'm sure werewolves will be loads better.
Mm-hmm.
Nosferatu kind of fills in the spot of Dracula. Maybe a mummy movie. But, like, maybe more grounded than action-packed, like I know they were trying to bring back.
Yeah. I don't know. I just really feel like Phantom of the Opera and Dr. Jekyll and Hyde are, like, the top 2. Like, that sounds awesome. So. Oh my gosh. Zoe Rose Bryant. I'm opening Twitter. She said she wants, what is her name? Chase Infinity from One Battle After Another. And, I'm forgetting his name, but it's the guy that was the younger guy in Sinners. Miles Canton?
I think so.
Miles something. Actors on Actors, and I love that. It's not even what I was looking for, but I love it. Thank you, Queen. I don't have anything.
You're doing great.
It's okay.
But no, I love vampires getting a resurgence. I watched for the first time Fright Night, and some amazing practical vampires. Similar to Nosferatu. Ugh. Gothic is just such a fun aesthetic.
Yeah, I agree.
So, reception. Have you looked at the scores that Frankenstein has gotten?
I have not.
Interesting. So, if you had to guess, what do you think the Rotten Tomato critic and audience score is?
I was pretty sure the critics was like 87 or something. Is that too low?
It is 85.
Okay. Close. I feel like the audience would be in the 90s. Maybe like a cute 93.
It's a 94.
Ooh, I was
very
close.
close.
On that one too.
So clearly pretty universally praised here.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think IMDb is?
Ooh. IMDb is tricky sometimes. Maybe like a 8.5?
It is a 7.6.
Ew. This is why I don't like IMDb.
IMDb
it's kind of stupid sometimes.
IMDb is just very tricky because it's unlike Rotten Tomatoes where it's like everyone who has a positive review, this is the percentage of those people, whereas this is the average of everyone's review. So it's like, yes, I liked it, but I liked it at a 6 as compared. It's, I don't know. It does inherently set it up to be a lower average.
Also, I wanted to shout out one of the tweets I just saw that said, in another timeline, GDT would be doing Wuthering Heights. Maybe.
I mean, yeah.
He's good at romance and period pieces, so. No, I feel like maybe like a Dracula film could be cool.
Yeah.
Any of like the classic monster films. It'd be very fun.
And the last one, and we've already kind of touched on this, but to kind of lock in our guesses on what award season might look like for Frankenstein.
Ooh, okay, I have a list. Let me look at my list.
Okay, pull up your list.
Well, let me go ahead and say, so also to preface this, we still have not seen some pretty well talked about potential Oscar contenders like Sentimental Value, Hamnet, obviously Marty Supreme has not come out yet. Wicked, Avatar, like those are going to be some heavy hitters as well that we just haven't seen yet. So let me just preface, but I think this could be fun in Best Picture.
I think it's a lock for a nom.
I think so too. Director, I think it should be a lock, but we'll see.
I think it.
I don't know why, but I feel like it should be a lock.
I feel like it should be. I feel like it's going to be a huge. People are going to say it's a huge snub otherwise.
Because I know, not to hate on John M. Chu, but I think people are saying that he's a lock, and I
fear that's not a given.
I don't. Yeah. I agree with that.
I think it would be great if he got recognized for his work.
Yeah.
I think it's very competitive.
Yeah, I think it's just very competitive. I'm not saying he's like undeserving, but that'd be tricky. We'll see. We'll see though, because I don't think he was nominated last year. So
He was not, and that was a big thing.
I think that's why people are saying that. Same with Ariana Grande. I don't think she's a shoo-in to win. I think she's a shoo-in nom, but I think people are talking as if like the Oscar is hers. And granted, I haven't seen the movie, but even I think when I do, I'm probably still gonna have the opinion. Like, I don't know. I think just because a lot of people, myself included, thought she deserved to win last year, that doesn't mean that they're going to just give it to her this year. No, they've kind of done stuff like that before where they're like, well, you deserved it in the past, so we're going to give you like basically an honorary one. So I'm not saying it's impossible, but I think people are talking as if it's like a given, and I don't think it is for either person. So we shall see. Let me think. Unfortunately, lead and supporting actor is like so competitive this year, but I would say out of the three, it would definitely be Jacob Elordi or Mia Goth that would get a nom. Not Oscar Isaac. I don't think he has a chance at all.
No,
personally.
I think Jacob Elordi. I think he'll make the short list.
I think so too.
Some short list.
I don't think he'll get a nom, but I think.
And you know what? I think
shortlist.
he has maybe a decent shot at getting nominated for a BAFTA.
Yeah, I think so. Like some other categories. Adapted screenplay.
How do we think about Mia Goth for supporting?
Yes. I think right now we can say yes, but I think Sentimental Value, they're talking about two different people in that, so that would take some spots. Gwyneth Paltrow has been talked about for Marty Supreme. Supporting's weird because a lot of times they put lead actresses in that. Cough, cough, last year. So that made me think of Kiss of a Spider Woman with Jennifer Lopez and Amanda Seyfried in that other one. I'm forgetting what it's called. We haven't seen either one of those either. So, it's like
I don't even know what Amanda Seyfried movie you're talking about.
It's a musical that people are kind of, probably on
Oh,
the
are
same
you talking
level.
about the Kiss of the Spider Woman?
No. It's a different one where she's a lead. But I'm forgetting what it's called.
I'm not clocking
because
that,
I haven't
but-
seen it either. obviously costume and hair and makeup I think are locks. I think honestly they're probably gonna win costume. I would be shocked if they didn't, but we'll see.
Yes, hair and makeup I think is also in the running.
And production design.
Production design
I think should be a given for a nom.
Yes. I also put cinematography.
Yeah.
I think that's
so too.
I think I'd be surprised if it didn't get a nomination for that.
Yeah.
I put score. I think it has a great score. There are some great scores, so I wouldn't be surprised if it doesn't make this. But start out.
We shall see.
Production design, visual effects, and adapted screenplay. Frankly, we may have a win.
Maybe. We shall see. Because is One Battle After Another adapted?
That's original.
Okay.
Right now,
That's
of adapted.
Because I thought that was adapted though. Because I thought that and Sinners were separate. No, I have it on the same original, so okay.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's gonna be a.
Original's gonna be
bloody.
crazy. For adapted, Begonia's in adapted. Frankenstein.
I have The Long Walk,
The Long Walk is definitely as well.
The Life of Chuck, The Roses. Let me dream. Let me dream about the roses. It's probably not gonna get anything, but let me dream.
Also some stuff that we've watched that we've talked about in the awards circle. As we've talked about them. Newmanburg was adapted. I don't think that'll make the running at all, but Springsteen was adapted. And then also Netflix's Steve with Cillian Murphy was also an adapted. I don't think those are going to make it, but I think that's...
Yeah.
No, frankly, I think it's just crazy to find, like, how many adapted movies are made. I think it's crazy, like, looking out for it, like we are now.
Yeah.
It's like, there's not a ton as compared to original. And
which is kind of fun. It's fun to
That
have
is
both,
fun.
but yeah, it's like, oh yay, you guys are like talented for thinking of your own things. Anyways.
Anything else on the awards circuit?
I don't think so. I think that was a lot, but I think they're all very valid. That's why one of the reasons I'm unsure about a director and any acting noms, just because I think they're going to get so many creative noms that perhaps when people are submitting their votes, they'll maybe be like, oh, well, I have like 5 creative things. Do they need a directing nom? I don't know.
I would say this.
So we'll see.
I'm gonna be surprised if
But
this
that's-
doesn't win some stuff.
Yeah. But that same conversation could be said about Wicked as well, I think. Even without seeing it, I'm sure it's still going to get some creative noms. So we'll see about John M. Chu with the director. So, we'll see.
Indeed.
I don't know. Anyway.
Ready? Any closing thoughts on Frankenstein?
I don't think we wrapped it up. We actually got 2 hours of stuff. So great conversation, guys.
Crazy. Would not have
Yeah.
guessed that when we started.
No.
But that is going to be the end of our episode today. Thank you so much for joining our conversation on 2025's Frankenstein. You can watch it right now on Netflix. If you haven't already, please let us know your thoughts on it.
Yeah.
And if you've made it this far, please leave a like if you're on YouTube. We'd much appreciate it.
Yeah.
Until next time, I'm your host, Luke.
And I'm your other host, Alicia.
And thank you so much for watching Not So Straight Nerds.
Goodbye.